What's up, everyone? This is Bacon here, and today I want to reflect on my main account, kind of talk about things that I wish I would have done differently, some kind of tips and tricks for people who might be starting out, and things to avoid when playing companions, especially early and mid game. I've made some mistakes with this account. At first, when I started playing, I kind of willy nillied it, kind of had it as my secondary game. Just thought I'd play it for fun and do whatever I wanted. I kind of viewed it as a chance to play with units that I hadn't really played before, which was good and bad. But I did a lot of other things that were just probably not the best ideas or weren't ideal with my account progression. So my first tip or trick for those who are starting out is to really focus on building out your wilders. As you can see here, I have 4 ascended. I need 1 more to unlock Awakened Solace, who is a game-breaking, game-changing unit. Unfortunately, I used a lot of my faction scrolls early on for light bearers just because I liked light bearers and that's what I wanted to do. And so I don't really have as many wilder units. If I would have focused on them earlier on, I would have had enough to have 5 ascended already and would be farther in my campaign, towers, etc. And so that's a big kind of thing I'm missing out on since doing that. So if you're starting out, you really want to use all of your faction scrolls on wilder units. That's super important. And eventually you'll even out, but for now, wilders should be the main focus. And you can see I even really neglected my maulers. Like my maulers, I have 2 ascended and 2 that are close-ish, but I really have neglected my maulers, and my Graveborns are farther along, so they're not as bad. But my Mauler Tower reflects that. If you look at it, is at 192, whereas everyone else is like 20, 30 levels higher. And honestly, I could probably push these 3 even farther than they are now if I really spent the time doing that. And so you can see why it's important to, 1, focus on wilders, because my wilder ones is basically the same as my Graveborn, and my light bearers. Could probably get to that point as well if I really tried. And so it's important to focus on your wilders early, but also try to maintain some sort of evenness with your other 3 so you don't kind of fall too far behind with your other factions. My next tip is to not neglect your Arena of Soul or your arena battles or whatever. Once you get to a certain point, and it's easy to just quick battle every day and be like, all right, my arena's done. I'm not going to deal with it anymore. And honestly, it's a really nice feature to have in the game, because previously you had to do all of your arena battles, or you'd have like 100 million cards that you would use for arena battles, and you just would never use them because no one has time for that many battles. So having the quick battle option is honestly really nice, but it's important that you try to push as far as you can with your arena. I've been at 22 for a while. I haven't tried to push in a long time. I probably should, but it's kind of hard when you have Shaltir and all these other units. It's a lot of times it comes down to like your final, each person's Shaltirs are battling each other, and so I've gotten lazy with that. But I should prioritize trying this more. I should try to push up to at least top 20 to continue bettering my rewards. But this is one mistake that a lot of people early on will, they'll fall into. They'll be like top like 800 and they just quick battle every day. There's a lot of gains you can make in that. You can get to top 100 relatively easy after playing for about a month or so. It shouldn't be too hard if you just kind of focus and pay attention. So make sure you are doing your arena battles at least in the beginning, so you can get a higher rank where you're getting better resources, because you do get better resources depending on your ranking. And so this is based on your guild, so this one doesn't matter as much. But for you, when you're playing, these are the rankings rewards that you'll get. So you can see on the top 30, I get 9,000 arena coins and then 900 diamonds. Now, if I were to get to the top 10, it would go up even more. Top 5, and then obviously first, pretty good. I'm not gonna get first because I'm not a whale. But if you're someone who's just kind of chilling in like the top 500, you can see it's already down 3,000 coins and 300 diamonds. That's a lot of easy rewards that you get just from playing the game a tiny bit every week. And so you want to try to get into that top 200, top 100 ideally. If you get in the top 50, even better. But make sure you're trying to push this as far as you can, because there are some good rewards. And I understand it can be lazy, or you can be lazy and just kind of ignore it, but it's something you really want to focus on, because the arena store has some of the best items in the game. You're going to want to start getting these emblems. You're going to want to start getting these ones as well, just because you can't really get them in very many places else in the game. And so you really want to be kind of stocking up on these early on. So once you get your unit signature items unlocked, you can start pumping those up and getting them higher. And so speaking of the store, early on, it's tempting to use your diamonds in the first store section, or buy some of the like legendary equipment, because it's kind of hard to get equipment in this game. It's not the easiest thing like in the classic version. So it's definitely tempting to use your diamonds for these things, but do not make this mistake. Do not use your diamonds on these things. Diamonds are, especially if you are free to play, diamonds are a sacred currency that you want to cherish and use on other things besides this stuff. Now, is this a decent buy? I mean, for 2,000 diamonds, getting 10, I would hold on to them. But don't make the mistake of buying these things, because you want to save your diamonds for better things. Likely, when you first play, you'll be like, okay, brand new, like celestial hypogean units, I can get through the arena store. Perfect. I'm going to just save and save and save and pump out on these. And that's not a terrible idea, especially if you don't have copies of them. But once you get 1 or 2 copies of them, it's probably good to kind of shift to these 3 items right here. Amplifying Emblem, Primordial, and then the Fortuitous Emblem Choice Chest. These will help you build out your signature items in your units, which has a lot of value when strengthening your units, make them stronger, unlocking different abilities and stuff. And so these have a lot of value. Now, these 2 items you can focus as well. If you're looking to get more dimensional summons, it might make sense to focus on these a little bit right now. Or if there's someone that from Stargazing that you're trying to get, it might make some sense to buy some of the scrolls. But besides for those reasons, I would say focus on these 3 once you get a copy or 2 of these 2 units. Don't just continually spend leveling these up, because the amount of coins it takes to get these ascended is like astronomical. It's insane. And so you can get so many resources for the same cost. And these units in like 5 months, they might be useless. They might not even be good anymore. And so these will always be good. These will not always be good. So keep that in mind. That's my next tip for new people or people who are kind of progressing in the game at this point. My next tip for new people, and this is something that I have recently changed my mind on, but you should not use your Destiny summons when summoning for regular faction units. Now, if you just want to get 1 copy of a brand new unit that's in the game, like, sure, go for it. But in most cases, especially now that we know that dimensional units are going to be summoned with Destiny scrolls, that means their value is like way more up. And especially because you can't really get these anywhere else besides going to the Stargazing room. And it's a pain in the butt, and like you're not going to get a lot through here. So it's important to not waste your Destiny summon scrolls on units that you can get through normal summons. And so you might look at this and you'll be like, okay, Mishka's really good. I want to go for her. And so you might go and you might summon, 100 scrolls on her. But you will get her, if you have her on your wish list, and especially if you're going for Wilders with your faction scrolls, you will just naturally get her leveled up. I have Mishka 2-star ascended. I have literally done nothing but have her on my wish list. I haven't, chosen her for any events, picked her for any events. You will get most units on your wish list over time, especially with companions. Scrolls are a currency or an item that you get a lot of. The game gifts you a lot. You get 10 free a day automatically. A lot of the events give you a lot of free scrolls. When you first start the game, there's a lot of different bonuses to get you free scrolls. There's just a lot of reasons to not waste your Destiny scrolls on something that you can get with common scrolls. And so if you can wishlist it on here, I would say it's not worth going for in the Destiny summons. And since we know Celestials and Hypogenes will not be in here for now, that just leaves dimensional units. And I just think their value is way more important, way higher than, using them for just your common heroes. And so unless you're a big spender or you're just really impatient, I would say just save your scrolls for the different dimensional summoning events because I think they're just going to be a lot more valuable here, especially when you see things like this. Getting the armor or the mythic choice chest is great. And so you don't want to miss out on these things because if you save up over time, you can pretty much max out most future dimensional units, I would say, if you just save them for the event. And so I think moving forward, I'm not going to be using these for anything except for dimensional spirits. Another easy mistake to make, especially when you're starting the game, is to not use your diamonds for fast rewards. So fast rewards give you, if you didn't know, 2 hours worth of basically AFK rewards. And these are really valuable because these add up over time. So if you do this every day for a week, that is like 14 hours. I think that's right. No. Yeah, 14 hours worth of rewards. And if you do that for an entire month and then for an entire year, if you play it that long, it really adds up. And so it's important to do your fast rewards. And it might seem like a waste because of the diamonds, but it's definitely worth the 300 diamonds a day. So that is something you should be doing every single day, regardless of where you're at in the game. Beginning, mid, late game, you should always do your fast rewards. The next mistake that you want to avoid is not doing your guild bosses or not even being a part of a guild. So you can join basically any guild once you start. There's a lot of guilds in every server. Now, the higher the guild you're in, and when I say higher, I mean the better overall players, the more rewards you're going to be getting over time. And so if you look at your chest, these are the chests that you claim every day, basically. And so what happens is whoever the top person in each of these different parts of the game, in your guild, whoever ranks the highest, you get a portion of the rewards kind of split amongst all guildmates. And so you can see this person and then this person are really high up in arena, rank 3, so I get pretty high rewards. Rank 7, you can see them rank 4, 4, 4. And so they basically split these rewards amongst all guildmates. And so if you're in a guild with a bunch of really low level people, you're not going to get the best rewards in this. Now, you can see there's nothing to write home about. Like 26 purple essence isn't anything crazy. 250 arena coins isn't anything crazy. And so if you're not like super high, you're not going to like be completely throttled in your gameplay. But this is just one thing that's important to note. It also makes different events easier. And that's why you're probably going to kind of see the biggest drawback on not being a good guild is certain events might be a lot harder, or you don't even complete them, or you just do really poorly in them, and then you get kind of garbage rewards. And so that is the big push for getting in a good guild. I'm currently on the second highest guild in our server, so we get pretty solid rewards, which I appreciate. And then another thing you can do is make sure you are doing your guild boss every day. Make sure you are kind of optimizing your teams to, be doing maximum damage, and make sure that you are doing hunting blade and borrowing units from your guild mates when necessary or when it would benefit you, because you want to be doing max damage. You want to be cranking out that damage against the guild boss every day because you get better rewards and your guild gets better rewards too. So do not overlook the guild boss and your guild. So we're getting towards the end with tips and mistakes to avoid when playing AFK companions. And so I want to kind of have the best piece of advice, in my opinion, at the end. And that is to just have fun with the game. The game is meant to be casual. It's called AFK for a reason. You shouldn't be spending 10 hours a day playing this game, and you don't need to. You can make perfectly good progression playing for 30 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, and not spending any money, and you'll have a lot of fun. Now, this game isn't for everyone, so if it's not for you, that's fine too. But my piece of advice is to just play the game. If there are certain units that aren't the best, maybe they're not the highest in tier list, but you think they're pretty cool and you want to build them out, do it and have fun with it. You can mid-max or min-max as much as you want. You can try to make sure you have the absolute best units in the game. But at the end of the day, people are going to be power crept. The units that are really good now aren't going to be the best in a year. And so the tier is always changing. And so do what makes you happy and do what brings enjoyment to your game play with AFK companions. Personally, that's how I started the game off. I kind of played with units that I really enjoyed, and I don't really regret it. I think, I could have awakened Solace right now, which would have been really cool. But I'll get her eventually, and when I do, it's going to be really exciting and fun. I maxed out Brutus because I thought Brutus was kind of cool. I don't recommend maxing him out, honestly, but, you know, he's not bad. Like, he's not a terrible unit. It's not like he's totally useless. He's been pretty helpful in a lot of different areas. Another example of this is Thane. Thane is a really good unit in the game that I think is kind of underlooked or overlooked rather. But I decided to build him out early on because I thought he was pretty solid, and I thought I saw a lot of potential in him, and he's been great for me. I've really enjoyed using him in a few different areas in AFK companions, and maybe you'll discover a unit that's kind of busted that is maybe in like the C tier on all the tier lists you can find online. Um, and they end up being really good in a few areas that you've never tried before. And so, my piece of advice is just to have fun. Don't take the game too seriously. Now, if you find enjoyment out of min maxing and like optimizing every component of the game, then go for it. But if you're a person who's not that serious and you just want to have fun with the game, do that. Play units that you want to play with and don't look back. Maybe you love Tassie and you want to build Tassie, then you go build Tassie. Maybe you want to build Mahira and you want to spend all of your arena tokens on getting stargazing cards, then go for it. Do it. Don't let guides and optimization stop you from having fun, because at the end of the day, it's a game. Things are gonna change over time, and you should have fun with it. So that's my last piece of advice. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully, for those of you who are still kind of new in your AFK Companions journey, this was helpful. For those of you who have kind of played it for a while and are kind of in the mid to late game, hopefully there was something that was helpful in this video for you as well. But as always, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe below. If you have any comments, questions, leave them in the comments below. And as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.